Well, I think it's got to be at every stage of the process, and I think Australia has been moving in the right direction. In fact, I think that some of the most important reforms have been in relation to patient engagement. But there's still a lot more to do, and that goes right back to the beginning of Horizon scanning, through the clinical trial process, but also having a genuine partnership between HTA agencies and the patient community.
I think the important thing is patients can be equally engaged in all the community. I think it is very crucial to establish the infrastructure for patient involvement, especially in the low and middle income countries, such as to persuade the willingness of HTA agencies to set the patient involvement programs and also the guidance about how to and what to involve the patient input in HTA deliberations.
Our ambition for patient engagement or patient involvement is to have a systematic, continuous, meaningfully partnership with patients all along the value chain of the drug, the medicine development, from early research to when we are successful, when we have a drug in the country available to patients, to have this continuous partnering and partnership with the patient community all along the value chain, and not opposed to an ad hoc basis.
I think that for patient communities, an improved process, HTA process is a process that is more transparent, that provides enough information for patients to get involved.
Well, what I want to see is that patients getting involved into the process, because that's the very essence of it. And then how would evaluators or assessors do the assessments, including the patient voice, including their inputs? That is what the outcomes that we want to see.
I think better involvement in patient involvement for me looks like being an open, easy to understand system that captures the voices of patients in a targeted way that can help decision makers make a more and well-informed decision.
I think better engagement and involvement in HTA looks like starting earlier. So a lot of the talks we've been hearing about is how do we get patients engaged and involved in HTA with submissions, but I want to change the focus a little bit to generating patient evidence and starting earlier. And that means planning, and that means talking with people, but we do need to think about this 12 to 18 months, 2 years in advance. And that's, I think, the key takeaway for me, what we need to do.
The earlier they get involved in HTA, the better. It depends on your definition of HTA. For me, HTA starts very early in Horizon scanning and in trial design. So ultimately, patients need to influence and get involved in the design of the trials and the creation of the evidence that will ultimately be assessed and appraised by HTA bodies. It's much harder to come in late in the day and try and fix problems for a data set that has so many gaps in it, because ultimately these data sets are designed to answer regulatory questions for the FDA in the US. They're not designed to answer the questions that health technology appraisal bodies, patients and clinicians are interested in. So we need to incorporate these real-world components into the evidence development plans as early as possible. And if it's not possible to get them into the regulatory study, we need to do additional studies to de-risk that regulatory data set.
To me, better patient engagement is engaging patients from the very beginning. So far, what I see, and way too often, is that patients are consulted as reviewers mostly. So they're asked to review documents, to bring their perceptions about what has already been written. What I would like to see, personally speaking, is patients really engaged, not only in the reviewing of documents, but from the very start and in the assessment, because there are techniques, there are methodologies to do so, but they need to be implemented and to be some kind of included in the regular practice, I would say.